today I'm going to show you one of the innovation that site manager has brought into the industry, and we have been having it for some time, but we always evolving and bringing more stuff into the solution. So this is focused more on solving one of the most classical problems in the industry, which is the coupling of optimization and planning. Historically, these two departments has been running in parallel. A lot of inefficiencies and challenges has been there. You know that 70% of the problems the mobile operator facing, it lies within the radio, and that is the most complex and spreaded and distributed part of our network, as well the most expensive one. So just worth saying that every $1 gets invested in the mobile network, 70% or 80% roughly of that, debatable, goes to the radio networks. And that's where focusing and getting this part right is very, very important for the network efficiency and the operations as well. So the essence of what we're doing here, we are breaking the silos between the network planning and optimization. And that by itself is a challenge which has been there for ages. So for the people who work in operations, they would know that we say one engineer can handle up to 100 sites between planning and optimization. That number has been increased by 4 times to take one engineer to handle up to 400 sites from planning to optimization with this innovation. So there is a 3-part here. One is basically bringing the digital RF planning, not in the most, let's say, classical way, desktop, manual kind of a planning, and we're going to talk about that. The second part is the automated drive test. So it is the drive test that we have known since the beginning of this industry, but with a much improved and sophisticated way, as we say, sophisticated solution to make the operation simple. And the third one is the analytics, which is the data-driven site densification. And I'm going to talk about each one of these, then focus a little bit more on the core topic of this presentation, which is the drive testing. So going to the next slide, starting with the digital planning. What we have done in this area, we have put a complete planning engine and control that with an API to run different kind of a prediction. But for example, take the example of having a nominal site and different candidates. Simply, you can here run the prediction to know which candidate is the best and which candidate is the most fit for your basically objective and what KPIs you are trying to achieve. We use for that an AI model, which we call AIM. That is not something which many planning solutions does. And the point here that basically we have this ray tracing model faster than other models, trained on the data, and can basically bring better results, which goes up to -5 dB difference between the actual and the planning. It's a complete web graphical user interface. And the most important thing, it's native cloud solution. Cloud native solution, which means it can help you to run the massive nationwide predictions. And the people who come from that background knows how difficult and how time consuming and processors consuming to do a nationwide predictions. But with this cloud native solutions, it can be done in one day. It is horizontally scalable, and you can have that results updated for your decision making at any time, at any point of time. And the final thing takes us to visualize the differences. And I will talk about this in the last slide when we speak about the analytics part. Then, in a very automated and natively integrated way, the drive testing solution picks up the site data, the site information, the location, and write automatically the script needed to test that site based on the scenario and the, let's say, KPIs you are looking to achieve. Send it down to the drive testing engineer. Drive testing engineer picks it up automatically. The navigation, it drives you to the site. You will perform the site testing. The results get updated and uploaded automatically back to the post-processing engine. This is fully automated end-to-end process on, again, a cloud-native platform. And that's a huge differentiator because most of the drive testing solutions out there in the market are monolithic. They have been there for ages. And as much as there is certain automation aspects, the post-processing usually is an old software which doesn't scale up. For people who come from this background knows that the most expensive part of the operations here, that the post-processing scalability, because you end up with a huge number of servers that only used in certain point of times, but those servers are gonna stay there. At some stage also, just to like open the thinking, let's say horizon, people was thinking that drive testing will die. But we are not able to move away from it. And we are not, unfortunately, able to move away from the carbon emissions associated with the drive testing, and simply for the reason that we are using the customer device to test in the customer geographical area and simulating the exact radio conditions. Every other solutions out there in the market does not capture the radio interface, let's say, signaling in the same way we do. And one of the simplest example is a speech quality, for example. How would you measure speech quality if you don't do drive testing? So that is something is gonna stick around with us in the industry, and we're gonna see it evolving. Probably we're gonna cut the need for having more than one person in the drive testing car. We're gonna automate the process. We're gonna simplify the process, but I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. Then, this is the most important part. And this is where people and operations spends a lot of time to do manual correlation between the plan and the actual. In our case, the solution does this and immediately spot those gaps where there is a need for densification. And the most interesting thing that it can again trigger back the planning exercise to rerun the nominal and candidate exercise to figure out the new candidate, the best new candidate, go for implementation, and then go back again to the densification exercise. Within the densification exercise, there is also an enrichment of the data, which is very important. Enrichment of the data goes to our OSS stack, or a third-party stack, where we pull in the performance counter, fault management, configuration management in an automated way, as well as the GIS data. We run our AI ML algorithms, which includes the anomaly detection and some predictive performance problems based on the historical data, predictive fault management as well. And last but not least, it's like the planning and optimization in a single screen, which basically makes you see everything and also see your demography, if you want, on the same data, so you can see how many customers are impacted with that. So it's a full cycle, as you see, and it's a fully integrated 3 platforms where it helps, of course, the mobile operators to reshape their operations, because as we always say, it takes you to change the business process, it takes you to change the structure of the organization, and then the platform will start bringing more basically cohesiveness within your operations. And that's when you really achieve the real automation in your operations and cut the cost. So this is the 3 areas, and I wanted to explain. The next slide is the thing which I'm very proud of, announcing our collaboration with Linquist. And Linquist is one of the biggest global service providers in the drive testing and optimization arena. They have officially adopted and announced that NetPulse is going to be the solution for them. We have completed the integration with their ANTS cloud solution, where we are powering that for them now to go to the field and taking their operation from where they are to a completely new level of automation, as well as testing capability. So it's not only about the architectural benefits, it's also about what can you do. And this shows you in just a high level nutshell how we have done that. So basically we have our work order creators. That's where you design the script. It goes to thousands of the fields, laptopless, all handhold a kind of handheld kind of devices which receive these scripts. Then it goes inside the Ants cloud from our partner Linkwest, where we have 3 components: the log storage, log processing, and data visualization. And that goes down to the rest of their components in their solution, which govern the work in the field, dispatch the engineers to do the tilting, or do any kind of replacement, cross feeders, fixes, and so on. So this is a model where Rakuten is trying to replicate within the market. So we invite more, basically, partners to join us and take our software and start basically improving their operations, whether as an end user or as an OEM integration, which will bring a great value, as I said, in terms of TCO, automation, and less error prone in the market. Thank you.